Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here for some sexy time with console kits. Oh yeah.
Justin, what's going on, man?
Hey,
we're back. Hey,
how's it going?
You here for some sexy time or what?
I think we're here. We finally got this stream to work.
Yeah, so Kappa blocked us, so we're good now.
He kept on hitting the button that said this is suitable for children, and it wouldn't let us go live.
It's crazy. I'm sorry, guys. That was nuts. I don't know what the heck happened, but I don't know. I feel naked. Hold on. All right, everybody. We are here right now. I am with Justin, Console Kits, as he is known. And we have a couple sponsors for this episode. The first sponsor is Respawn Energy Drink. Yeah, they finally did it. Respawn Energy Drink. Yes. Hold on, actually. Respawn Energy Drink should be more like this because it's like really speedy, so.
This episode is sponsored by Respawn Energy Drink. Oh my god, I'm out of my mind. Yeah! Me and Console Kids. And then after, when it runs out, you're like this.
Oh yeah, what's up? I'm so tired, man. My Respawn energy drink is like totally dogging me out, man. Oh man.
You have to take that music up, man. Oh, thank God.
Okay. All right, guys. All right, so anyways, we are here. We are back. I'm sorry, am I being loud?
Cut that music out.
All right. Fine, we'll cut the music.
You're
Okay, I'm sorry. I got really excited. Oh wait,
apologize.
Yeah. Why is this everyone saying the audio is messed up? What's going on?
It's because you blew out their ears with that music.
Oh. Sounds like Chip and Dale's had an O.
Well, now keep in mind, Ralph was playing and modulating his voice. So how about now? Is everything sounded okay now?
Yeah, it should sound good, right? Just give us the big thumbs up or yes or something in the live stream to make sure that it's all good. But someone said just joking. So what are we doing today? So we're going to do our normal format. We got audio is fine, he said. We're going to do our normal format. We're going to have a lot of fun. I got my little setup here on the table. I'll show it to you right really quickly if this actually works, but let's see. So that is the tabletop area. So this is right next to me. And what we have this week, which is cool. So if you watched the channel this week, you saw I did a episode on this Neo Geo MVS Supergun. So we got this thing right here. We got our OSSC hooked up to it. We're using a I think it's a 120-in-1 120-in-1 multi-cart, but also I have a PCB hooked up here too, and I haven't really used this yet on the show much, but hold on, I'm going to take this cart out, but it's another cartridge-based PCB. So hold on, let me just take it out really quick. And I can't get it out. So see, this is why you don't do this stuff. Oh shit. This is why you don't do this stuff on the... All right, there we go. Okay, so what I got here is actually... Oh, wrong way. So Die Hard Arcade. So this is actually the STV Sega board. So this thing is really cool. I actually didn't test it beforehand. I've hooked it up one other time, and it did work fairly well last time I did. So no, it's not STD, it's the STV. That is very different. One is a venereal disease. This is not. This is actually a Sega PCB. So, really quick, Justin, I might as well just talk about this since we have it up.
Do it.
But so a lot of people don't realize there was a lot of cartridge-based arcade boards. So this is just one of them. But this is the the Sega STV. But the Neo Geo is also cartridge-based, and so was the Atomis Wave. So those are all cartridge-based systems. There was even Sega had put out another one prior to this board. So I'll show it to you again really quick. Sega had put the prior generation of this was the Sega Mega Play, which actually played what looked like Sega Genesis carts. So there's a lot of really cool cartridge-based PCBs out there, and they were really neat because if you were an arcade owner and, let's say Die Hard wasn't selling well, right? You could then take this out and put in, another Sega cart and then just reskin the cabinet. So they didn't have to go, because at the time, these are really, really expensive, as an arcade owner to keep the games fresh. So Neo Geo Geo was another one. Neo Geo cabs, you'll see them with like 4 games in them sometimes, but they could swap out the games, and all I had to do is change the little marquee graphics. So it's pretty cool. Polygame Master, yep, that was another cartridge-based system. So definitely a lot of like cool cartridge-based arcade boards. I'm gonna plug this back in, Justin, and then we'll get the show on the road.
Let's do this. Yeah, the Neo Geo was one of a great cabinet I recall back in the 90s. So I lived in this really small town, about 10,000 people in Iowa, and I lived across the street from a Walmart, and they actually had a big red cabinet there at the Walmart. And I remember just looking at it, just being stunned that it had, like 4 games that you could pick. I wish I could remember exact games that were on it, but I don't.
Yeah. No, these cabinets are super cool. This one's actually, so this cart, I thought I had it handy and I don't. But so this is running on a super gun. But then the other cool thing is, so if you guys are interested, so super guns come in all different sizes and shapes and stuff. So this is actually a super gun as well. So obviously this thing is a Neo Geo MVS and a super gun, but this is also a super gun. This one actually, you take like a Molex power supply and hook it up to it, and then this end goes on where this is right here on your PCB, and then the output on this one, I actually accidentally pulled this out of a thing and broke off the component outputs, but this has a SCART output, and then you'd put this to like a SCART to HDMI converter, and then you can plug in your Neo Geo controllers right here. So there's a lot of really cool stuff out there. Naomi's another one. Yeah, I didn't even mention that one. So Naomi is another one of those really cool cartridge-based arcade boards. So it's weird, Justin. We live in like a weird time right now because you and I didn't cover this at all in the past. And actually, I left the box downstairs because I was frantically going from a family event to here for this. But something that we've been talking about a lot is the Mr. Project.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's really cool too, because what you have going on right now is you've got people who you've got people who want to play with the original hardware, and the original hardware is great, but unfortunately, like over time, components will fail and things like that. So what are we going to do, 10 years from now when potentially you can't get the parts to sort of replace or fix these types of boards? And so what FPGAs have brought to the table is this idea that, there's a lot of, I'm going to go back to the table really quick. There's a logic circuit here that has to be put together in a certain way to make this board work. Well, what FPGAs have proven to do is it's a way to recreate this logical layout so that the game is playing, for all intensive purposes, exactly the way it would here on this physical board. So it's not really emulation, it's more recreation. So it does, if you played with things like the Mega SG, it actually uses FPGA technology as well. So it's pretty much, as long as it's coded well, it's pretty much as accurate, or as close to 100% accuracy with its original. That's what it's trying to do. So I think in the next coming years, you're going to see more and more people jump on the FPGA bandwagon, because this stuff's starting to get old. I mean, there's only so long it's going to last. So if you can imagine a world where like I can have 100, like one actual chip that could have 100, different arcade boards that are recreated on it. That could be really, really cool. So, do you look at Smoke Monster? So, actually, the funny thing is so Brian, thank you for bringing that up. I was familiar with FPGAs before, but I didn't really play with the Mr. Project at all. And I went and bought one, the D10. Is it D10-Nano? I think that's the right model.
DE10.
Is it DE10?
DE10.
Yeah, so I went out and bought a DE10-Nano, and I played with it a little bit. I don't have the expanded memory, so I couldn't load some of the other cores, but there's a list of cores you can run without the extended memory, and I think Smoke Monster actually did a video on this, but I'm brand new to it, so I don't claim to be any kind of expert at all, but I do want to try to incorporate it into the channel in the next coming weeks. I might even try to squeeze in maybe like a Thanksgiving episode or something, but because it's going to be the holidays and everything, I don't know how many videos I'm going to put out there, but I really would like to. And then I know, Brian in the chat brought up that there's now a JAMA Edge connector for Mr. So, I mean, there's so many cool things. But I am really digging that project. Like, if you're someone that doesn't necessarily, or you don't care about the arcade cabinet aspect of it, so I'm kind of taking that JAMA thing and putting it aside for now. If you wanted a console that you can sit in your living room and be able to get a true, pretty close to 100% true accurate experience, like this Mr. Project is going to be able to do that for you. It's pretty damn cool. I don't know, Justin, if you want to add anything on that, but...
Yeah, a couple of things going back. If anyone's ever watched the video about Kevin Kevin Horton Keptris, the guy who put together the analog products, right? He's the new Pocket that's coming out. He's built that, of course. But the Mega SG, when he built the Mega SG, he did it in a really, really clever way. He took chip by chip and black box reverse engineered it by sending different signals to it, what outputs he would get from every single circuit, and he recreated that all in the in the FPGA language that he was writing it in. And when it was all done, once he had all the components all mapped out based on this digital in and out signals, it would play, these Sega games. And so maybe that can help you understand how it is a sort of emulation, but it's emulation at the hardware level.
Yeah.
And so every single circuit is being emulated. Another way to look at it is if you take a look at the Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi, we're not digging on it in any way, but to compare it to FPGA, it's a Linux platform, right? So you're going to have this layer of an operating system and everything that's managing memory for that in the hands of Linux. And of course, Linux is a great distro. There's a lot of great things about Linux, but with the FPGA, none of that exists. It's just the exact code to recreate those circuits. And so what's great about this Mr. project is it's only about $130, $140 for this
awesome.
development kit. So you buy the development kit and you load the cores on it that are being made by these brilliant developers, and it gets a great arcade quality. And so it has HDMI right out on it, and so we're going to be trying to cover it as much as we can, help talk to people. I'm a good friend. So I've met Smoke Monster. I met him just a couple weeks ago. We've known each other for a couple years, and he was like, "Dude, you got to check out the Mister. You got to get Ralph into it because the Arcade 1-Up community has to see this." And so that's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah, it's really cool. And even if you're just into console gaming and you have no desire to do any of this arcade stuff, it's going to have you covered pretty well there too. And you're going to, if you're someone that's bought like I'm not telling you to not buy a Super NT or a Mega SG, but you could have both those things in one actual unit and then some, right? You could have Genesis cores and all sorts of that's the Mega SG, but you know what I'm saying? You can have multiple cores. So I actually did something, Justin, that I've never done before. So on this tabletop area, I went and pushed the button to switch from JAMA to the PCB, and I didn't realize, from the MVS to the PCB, and I didn't realize, I'm going to do it really quick. I didn't realize, look how quick this thing will transfer from that back to the MVS. I had no clue that it would work that quick. Like, that is really cool. So when I press this button right now, I'm going to pop over to, and by the way, I'm not good at this Die Hard arcade game very much, but we'll play it. It's kind of like a 3D beat 'em up type of a game. This is actually the one that this is the Japanese version of it. So I have a little switch. I don't know, you're not going to be able to really see it, but I'm going to bring it up really quick. I'm going to see if I can locate it. If you look right here, there's a BIOS chip right here with a switch. This switch goes from the Japanese version of the carts to the American version of the carts. So you can actually flip this back and forth. So it's region free in a sense, but you have to, or it's region switching, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so I'm going to fire this up a little bit. I'm going to just get the game audio going, and then we'll just chat. We'll do our normal thing. But it's how we doing on 51 people. Thank you so much for joining on your Sunday night. Love that.
And I have to tell you, Ralph, you might be a little upset, but I got some goodies here tonight.
What do you have? It's not.
Oh, it's like the sour rainbow belts, they're called.
Oh, man.
See these?
Yeah, and I like sour candy, so I'm kind of pissed that you didn't decide to share that with me or anything. So it's cool.
Yeah.
For those of you that have never played Dynamite Cop. Dynamite Cop is the sequel to this, and you can play that on the Sega Dream. Shit, my my controller's not letting me go down for some reason. Hold on, it was giving me an issue earlier too.
Hey guys, let us know how the volume sounds.
This oh, there we go. Okay, this Neo Geo controller I'm using to play this, it's a little old and it's got like a little bit of dust in it or something, so it's got issues making contact, but. Yeah, so if you've ever played Dynamite Cop on the Sega Dreamcast, that's actually the sequel to this game. So this was an arcade release called Dynamite Deca in Japan. I think it was just called Die Hard Arcade in America, if I remember right. But it's just kind of funny because this was like, Justin, I don't know if you remember, this is that like transitional period for gaming where like the 3D was really new and kind of shitty. Like it wasn't very good yet. By the way, again, another scantily clad woman shows up. Like, what do you think she was doing before this fight? Like,
right. She was sitting at home, watching Oprah or,
Ellen, maybe Ellen.
Ellen, there you go. I was trying to think of maybe Judge Judy or something. And then all of a sudden she heard noise outside and she just ran outside. She didn't have enough time to put her pants on. Hey, Perry, so you asked how much are they? So are you referring to the Mister? Or are you referring to some of the stuff that Ralph has on display here?
Oh, man. Just got taken out.
So Brian asked Ralph, what do you use to interface to the 15-pin connector controller-wise? Is it just a Neo Geo pad?
Yeah. So here I might die really quick right here, but it's fine. So I'm gonna go back to the table really quick so you can see that. Hold on one sec. So if you look right here, here's your I'm gonna disconnect it. So this is your connector for your Neo Geo gamepad, and that's the gamepad I'm using. So I'm gonna plug it right back in there, and then we'll kick back over to it. But yeah, and then this actually has a player 1, and then there's right over here there's a player 2, which you can't really see, and then you can also use Sega Saturn controllers on this too. So the way they have this consoleized MVS set up is you could use Neo Geo or Sega Saturn. So if you look like this older style Super Gun, actually this just uses Neo Geo ones. It doesn't use the Sega Saturn ones. So it's kind of sweet to be able to use the Sega Saturn ones. Mm-hmm. Was there another question in there?
I don't think so. I think you covered it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So the Super Guns are cool and everything, but as this all the FPGA stuff starts taking off, like I may even though there's such a cool factor to doing it, I may start to even second. Like I bought a lot of PCBs and I have them laying around. They take up a ton of space. The whole thing for me with PCBs is that there's you can't really get a better experience because you're playing it identical to what it was, right? I mean, you're not emulating anything. I'm running it off of the original hardware. So, right. By the way, I love this rocket launcher. It's like, imagine using a rocket launcher at that close range. Like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? Oh, sorry. I'm thinking it would be a little bit more messy than that, but...
Yeah, what really got me into using original hardware, of course, growing up, I was using original hardware. And then I think when the Xbox One came out, or the original Xbox, I really wanted to play Super Nintendo on component. And so there was a big advantage there. So that kind of got me into the emulation scene for a while.
Yeah.
But eventually I was trying to I wanted to go back and beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And I couldn't. Like, I couldn't beat it. There was just too much lag. And at least I wanted to blame the reason why I couldn't beat Mike Tyson is because of the lag. So then I bought the Analog NT Mini, and I still couldn't beat Mike Tyson, even though I had like the best way. So then I bought an old school CRT with an NES RGB.
Wow,
which
dude, you went
will
crazy.
Have, like, no lag, right? And I still couldn't beat him. So
I did want to mention, if you're joining right now, you'll see we're actually playing right now. We're playing on the Sega STV board right here. And we're playing Die Hard Arcade. That's the cartridge right here. But we're actually playing it through this crazy device, which is actually a Neo Geo consoleized MVS and a Super Gun in one. Ooh, excuse me. And I'm running it through an OSSC. So it looks really clean. I would advise you to go out component or go through something that's going to do some line doubling and things like that, just because you'll get the best output you can, especially if you're going to put it on a on a HD TV, right?
Right.
It's like shocking how good this stuff can look. The only thing that's kind of a bummer about the Elgato HD60S is that you can't actually capture this because this board, or the OSSC, can do overline quadrupling. It can actually do 5x lines. When you do that kind of, when you do like a 5x line, it looks freaking clean. It can even make this stuff that kind of looks like crap right now look 10 times better. It looks better than it would actually look better than it originally looked, in my opinion.
Right.
So anyways.
But the OSSC doesn't even capture it, right?
What do you mean?
Like some of those modes on the OSSC, the Elgato can't necessarily pick up.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, so it actually can't pick up. It can only go line tripling, I think, and then at that point it'll. I'll actually try to do it, although it couldn't pose what we're doing. So I'm gonna stop the gameplay. They're gonna probably kill me really quick, but I'm gonna go in and as long as I have access to the remote, let's see. I'm gonna try to do line tripling really quick. So I don't know if you're not gonna really be able to see this, but I'm gonna go menu. So we're gonna go to shit. Okay, let me continue so I don't die. We're gonna go to output. So right now it's at 2x. I just took it to 3. Yeah, it kind of messed it up on the stream. The Elgato didn't like that. Let's go back to 2.
The Elgato's all right, but when it comes to the retro, anything that's like the 240p spectrum, that then you want to line double up, so like a 1080p signal.
Yeah, see, I just put scan lines on it, and I feel like it looks awesome on my TV right next to me, but it looks terrible on the stream, which is really unfortunate, because this thing, when you start putting scan lines in, I'm going to have to find a way. If anybody in the chat is like really good with video capture and stuff like that, I would like to find a way to show this stuff off so I don't have to, have it in a degraded state, because you would really, you'd really honestly take a look at it and go, wow, that looks so good. But unfortunately, because the HD 60S doesn't allow me to capture it, you're seeing it, it looks good, but it could look a lot better.
So, Brad, I do have a RetroTink 2X. Ralph, did you ever pick up one of those?
I actually never did. I know, I kind of still want to. I don't know, what are those priced these days?
It's like $100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was at an event, what was it, like beginning of November? I got to meet Mike Chi, the creator of RetroTink. Awesome guy, totally awesome. He's working on some new products that he's gonna talk about later. But the RetroTink is a great way if you're going from that 240p, like a Sega, Super Nintendo, or any arcade hardware that's down in that area that has component. So it'll take your component and scale it up to an HDMI out with 0 lag. And so highly recommend that. It doesn't have all the features that the OSSC has, but that's the whole idea. It's supposed to, if you want all those extra features, you're going to have a couple more chips in there to be able to handle that. So the price is going to go up. So what Mike Chi did was, he came up with the RetroTink, and it's just a cheaper one. Yeah, that's right, Brian. The Chinese have already tried to knock them off. That's right. There's a whole controversy.
I heard that. So what's going on with that? There's actually a bootleg one?
Yeah, so I think if you take a look at the brand of OSSE you have, I think the one you have is made by, what's it called, Kaiko? Is that right? I think it's the one you have, Ralph. So
there's no markings on it, but would it say that on it?
Yeah, so the original one, it's the open source scan converter is an open source project. But the only one that was really selling it, Brian, am I right? Is it's the guy from the UK, right? Or was it Retro Gaming came? I can't remember. Who was selling it. And anyone can really sell it, right? And there was some controversy when Keiko, I think his name was, started selling the OSSC. But they started selling it with a manual. That actually did have intellectual property owned by somebody else. So people were like, hey, you got to stop doing that. And Kako was like, okay. But then they came up with a new project that is almost cut and paste, of the RetroTink 2X. And Mike Chi got pretty upset about it. So there's all this Twitter war going on a couple weeks ago where they are just basically calling the company out. And they're like, hey, we didn't mean to. They basically said we didn't rip it off, but Mike Chi's like, look, it's like got exactly the same circuits and designs as mine.
Yeah.
You don't own that.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
That's unfortunate. I don't want to see that happen to anybody. I switched up the game. I'm putting on some Shock Troopers. This game's a pretty cool game if you never played it, but I wanted to show off something that's kind of interesting with the Neo Geo because it's running Unibios 3.3. And with Unibios 3.3, you can hit start and select, and you can go to like a cheat database. So if you're interested in like doing things like, I don't know, infinite grenades or invincibility, you can like turn that stuff on, which is pretty cool. I I don't know. It's kind of neat. You can do infinite health. Sometimes this stuff actually crashes the board. Most of the time it works, but we'll see if it works now. But this game is actually really fun. The only problem I have with this game is you're going to see a bunch of slowdown. That is actually how it played in the arcade originally. So if you ever played this game, yeah, it has a lot of slowdown. There's a lot of sprites on the screen at one given time, and the Neo Geo was kind of notorious for that. And it's weird because some games do it really bad and some don't. So I don't know if it was like a coding thing or what, but
Right.
yeah, I don't know if like maybe they got better with the code as time went on, because I feel like some of the other games actually don't really slow down the way this one does. But this one slows down bad.
Right.
Can you kind of tell that, Justin, from your?
Just a little bit. I haven't noticed it a lot. Is it like when there's a lot of sprites on the screen, or?
Yeah, like it'll actually just slow down to hell. Like right there, it's actually slowing down a lot.
Yeah, Chris is in the chat. He's saying it's Contra and Akira Warriors. And
oh gosh, totally. Except
how does that work in with your controller? Is it like you'll turn in?
Oh no, this controller is awesome for this game actually. Yeah, this Neo Geo controller is awesome because I don't know if you guys can see it. It's got like, it's the old school Neo Geo controller. So if you look, it's got like really great 360 movement. It's got micro switches. This thing, yeah. This, if you're gonna play this game, it plays really well with this. And then you could also do like a you could do like one of the Neo Geo fight sticks. Those work well too. But this it works awesome with this thing.
What's this game called?
It's called Shock Troopers.
I gotta play this. This looks awesome.
Oh, it's freaking an awesome game. Yeah, if you've never played it, it's like so badass. Yeah, it's such a cool, fun game. It's the one Neo Geo game that I have that really slows down. Yeah, this definitely slows down like crazy. So Justin, I know there was like a bunch of news items this week we were going to talk about, but of course.
Yeah, before we do that, we're forced to talk about our sponsors. So the first sponsor that we have is Monster Energy Drink. Thank you, Monster, for sponsoring this video. Not really, but thank you anyway.
And actually, we have another sponsor too. So hold on a second. Oh, sorry, wrong button. Hold on, guys. Our other sponsor? Yeah, you want to know who our other sponsor is, Justin? Our other sponsor is
Respawn Energy Drink. Do you sound a little sluggish? Are you having problems playing your game?
Well, hell yeah, kid! I got Respawn Energy Drink. This shit makes me crazy as balls. I'm gonna go play some more Shock Troopers. Yeah!
I don't think we have any more sponsors, though. I think that's it. What's that? What's that?
Our next sponsor is an item that hasn't even come out yet. It's called the Toy Shark.
The Toy Shark.
That's right. The Toy Shark has sponsored this video. Not really.
Yeah, Toy Shark. Toy Shark, actually. Wait, sponsored by the one... sponsored by one and drinking another... I don't even know what they're talking about. Anyways, sorry, Hot Pockets. I don't know what you're saying on that one. You lost me on that.
All right, so some of the news items that we wanted to talk about tonight. The Partycade. It's a really interesting thing. Did anyone notice that it's not called a Wallcade anymore? Like, don't call it Wallcade anymore. It's a Partycade.
It's a Partycade, dude.
It's a Partycade. It's actually a really cool name if you think about it, right? I almost created an entire video on it, but I thought that'd be kind of dumb. To have a video that's like, we're going to talk about the Partycade.
So to
hey
me,
guys.
To me, I think of like, if I was going to do a commercial personally on the Partycade, it'd be like the whole gym tan laundry, Jersey Shore theme, and I'd be like, I'd have like a warm-up suit on, I'd be chewing gum, and I'd be like, yeah, the Partycade, and we'd have like some techno music. So I don't know. I personally, Justin, that wouldn't be a product I care about. I just don't. I really, really don't. And it's not a diss on 1UP or anything. I don't know what I would do with it. I guess if I was like someone maybe in an apartment or something that like I don't really truly don't have the space and I gotta have an arcade, then maybe I'd buy a product like that. I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't get that product really. But unless you have limited space, that's like the only thing I can see where that fits.
So I have a theory. I have a theory of why they made the Partycade.
Okay.
And they made
because they like to party.
Well, first of all, the clever thing about Partycade is it has arcade in it. It's like they smashed party and arcade together, and it's a Partycade. I think that's kind of cool name, honestly. The marketing guy, imagine, he was in the one-up room and he's like, they're like Wallcade.
I kind of feel like I'm in a party right now, just don't you?
Right. So at E3,
okay.
We've seen all those videos. Ralph, you were there, and they kept on saying the same pitch. They kept on saying, so here we have the Wallcade, and it's really, really cool. You can hang it on the wall, but not only that, you can hang it on doors. But not only that, you can, and they kept on saying this and not only that. So eventually they said, why are we even calling it the Wallcade if the wall is only like one of the 4 things you can do with it? So they're like, we got to come up with a better name. And some marketing guys like Partycade, anyway.
Yeah, Partycade, dude. It's all about the Partycade.
What positive thing about the Partycade? They said it was going to be $249. That's what I remember. I remember them saying $249, and HSN has it for $199.
Oh wait, hold on. News item. Actually, I didn't even know this, Chris. Did you know it comes with feet? Maybe I didn't watch the whole video. So it comes with feet. You can put it on like a desk. The party is on the wall and the desk.
Wow!
What a crazy party!
I missed that.
And that's Chris Guizot, by the way. Someone that's very much involved in the channel, and he's awesome because he's Chris Guizot. But I actually, Chris, what did I call your name before? I think I called you the wrong name the first time I did a video, and I felt really bad. But you and I weren't really like buds then. I didn't know you that well, but I still felt really bad about it. I think I can't remember what I called you. Oh, Guizot. Go, guys. Gizot. I don't know.
All right.
Guizot? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways. It wasn't the right name, okay? Sorry, Chris. I still feel bad about that today.
So Zerfox, you said earlier, does the Partycade have the same size controls as the regular arcade 1-ups? For sure, the countercade is a completely different dimension in every sort of way. There's no part of it. I don't know. The joystick's the same size. The buttons are the same size. Is that right, Ralph? You did a mod on the countercade, right? You actually took the joysticks apart.
Yeah. No, everything's the same. Yeah, everything's the same form factor as their other systems. Yeah, there's nothing. They
just the actual control deck is a completely different size.
Oh yeah. It's much smaller. Yeah, much smaller.
Do you remember the Wallcade at E3?
So here's the thing. They didn't have them at E3. Yeah, and they were at CES. At least I don't remember seeing them at E3 at all. They had the countercades, but it was weird. No, to me, there wasn't a lot of traffic on the countercades. Everyone was really interested in, because that was TMNT time, right? So everyone was all fired up about TMNT. And Mortal Kombat was still relatively, not new, but new enough that you have a bunch of people like that they're gonna want to play. And then what actually was getting a lot of traffic was the cocktail kit or the cocktail cab Street Fighter. Like tons of people were playing that at the E3.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris just sent me a picture of the Wallcade with feet, so I'll have to take a look at that in a second here.
So what I think happened is Arcade 1-Up was still figuring it out, and early on, someone like Walmart was saying, this is great. The Arcade 1-Up cabinets are selling really well. What else do you got? And they're like, we could totally come out with smaller versions of arcades. And they're like, yeah, do that. And I know there was a lot of people in the community, they were saying, hey, I have 2 cabinets, but I don't know how I'm going to buy more. And so there was this challenge with space, Ralph, right? We've been talking about this, where space is a challenge. And we'd even hear David McIntosh talk about that in his pitch. He would say space is a challenge. But I don't think space is a challenge anymore. I honestly don't think it's as much as a challenge as they thought it was going to be, because now the marketing is the #1 accessory to an arcade cabinet from Arcade 1-Up is the second Arcade 1-Up cabinet. like they sell more Arcade 1-Up cabinets to people
Oh, wait.
than like, risers.
Someone just said they Googled Partycade. What came up? I'm assuming not the arcade 1-up.
It says he Googled Pantykade. That's
Oh, well, Classic Kim's listening, so I don't know.
yeah.
We got to keep
Yeah.
Pantykade.
Right. So okay, so I don't know about you, but I mean I did my first video on Arcade 1-Up about a year ago, and I had like 2 or 3 cabinets, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get more. And then I realized I have this useless couch in my basement, so I got rid of that, and then I bought like 10 more.
Yeah, who needs a couch?
Right, and that's what I keep on seeing people do. I follow people, you know, there's various people in the communities,
crap.
and they're like, hey, I can only have 3. And then a month later, they have 10.
That's
So,
nuts.
like, space. I don't know. There's probably some people in the channel that are like, look, man, I can only have 2, and I only have 2.
Well, what happens to the people in the chat? Like, what happens when you run out of space? Like, what's the plan? Like, what's everyone's plan? I mean, because it can't
Is it-
go on forever.
Right. I mean, when you run out of space, do you go get a Partycade?
Or
Or
do
do you buy a new house?
or do you stop and go, like, here's one theory, and this is going to be a controversial theory, but I think a lot of people are going to go down the path of multicades. They're going to go, man, I love all these, and it's great, and maybe they go the AtGames route, or maybe they actually go and do a real DIY kit, right? They go to, like, Game Room Solutions, or they go to...
Rec rooms?
Yeah, or they go to Rec Room Masters or something and do something like that, because you can't. It's not sustainable forever. I mean, I feel like Chris ran into this. Someone said do the Ralph way and get a storage unit. Yeah, so I actually am gonna figure out a way. I'm going back home for Thanksgiving, but I was gonna try to see if there's a way I can showcase the storage room somehow, because I need you guys to see this. It's bad, and I honestly hope it doesn't happen to you guys, because it's actually gotten so bad that I can't fit them in my house. And so, you know, especially with the Beast, but it's weird. There is a phenomenon that would happen. If you have a multicade like that, I'm dead serious, guys. If you have something like that, you start to almost think less of your 1-ups, because, I don't know, it's weird. If I go play the Beast and then go play the 1-up, I start feeling like it's cheap or something. And I'm not saying that it necessarily is, but when you compare it to like the real thing or something that's of quality of the real thing, it starts to kind of feel, just don't do that, actually. Like, I almost say don't do that, because you'll actually start feeling like down about your 1-ups. So I don't want that to happen to anybody, but yeah, if you go down the path of building like full-size arcades, you'll probably go all in. It's weird. You'll go from one thing to the other. It'll be like your graduation from quarter scale. I don't know. I've talked about it before. I think it's going to happen to a lot of people. I have a buddy that sells arcades, and he actually said to me that most of his customers that buy, or most of the people he talks to that bought 1-ups, they're coming to him because they want the real thing now. Like, the 1-up gave them a taste of what they could have in their house, and now they want like a larger multicade. So I'm not saying it's going to happen to everyone, but it does happen. So just know, if you go down that path and you start building full-size cabinets, you might get hooked. And then you'll take up even more space. So
yeah, I mean, last year I finished my basement, and this room that I had dedicated, it's supposed to be the studio. I mean, for several months after the basement was finished, we called it the studio, because I bought all this recording gear. I bought guitars. You know, I was making a recording space. And I was going to have like a couple arcade 1-up cabinets.
Hey, Brad,
my original plan wasn't full size.
Not to interrupt you, but Brad just said, I'm in the process of building one to replace my 1-up. So see, that does happen. That's a legit thing. It happens.
Yeah, I could see that.
Brad, what are you building? What are you building it with?
Eventually, I don't have a studio anymore. Now I have this tiny closet where I crammed all of my music stuff into, and the big room is mostly arcade 1-up cabinets now.
Yeah, it can happen. It's pretty addicting. So I don't know if you guys have ever played. I was just playing Shock Troopers. There's a game on here that's going to seem lame, but I came across it. I'd never played this in the arcade, but it's really a fun game. I'm playing it I gotta upgrade my studio stuff because I'm actually playing on a relatively small screen in front of me while I have a big screen on the right hand side. But I don't want to look like over there when I'm playing. But I'm gonna see if I can find it. I think it's called Nightmare in the Dark. This game is like a really fun game, but it sounds like it wouldn't be. I never played this in the arcade. I didn't even know this game existed. But there's a lot of games like this on the Neo Geo that are like just super fun that you could just go and discover. That's why the multi-carts are kind of cool. So I'm going to go back over to it really quick. That's why these are really cool, because you can explore the library without having to spend a lot of money, you know, and then you can kind of invest in the carts that you want if you want to be a collector. You know, these are expensive to collect. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube that I really like. His name is Scarlet Sprites, and he collects Neo Geo carts, and you know, he's got quite a few of them, but I think he's almost done. Like, he almost has a full collection, which is crazy to think. So the purpose of this game is to actually go and collect all these stones, which I didn't collect that one, so there we go.
So Crystal Alicia, I want to highlight her, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a girl. I want to highlight their message. It said, hey, do you think an original Xbox with a 2 terabyte hard drive with 800 games on it and emulators is worth $300 to buy? What do you think, RetroRalph? Are you too focused into the game?
A little bit. I don't know. That seems kind of expensive, and I'd be worried that Xbox is just kind of old at this point. You know what I mean? I think there's many other things you could buy if you want to play all those games that just something that's newer. You know what I mean?
I would say. I mean, back in the day, like when the original Xbox came out, I was a big modder for the original Xbox. I literally did hundreds of modifications for it, and $300 was the price back then, the going rate for a fully set up Xbox. And these days, if you really like the original Xbox games, because you can do you can rip them right onto the hard drive. That's great. That's great. But you know, the best you can get is component out. So if you're gonna plug that into a CRT, then it's gonna look great. But if you're gonna plug that into a modern television, you are probably gonna want to get an OSSC or a RetroTink.
Yeah.
To be able to get that into HD. There is supposedly an HDMI converter coming out for the Xbox. There's a person that's working on that project. But if you're just buying it for like the Nintendo arcade, MAME, Sega emulators, you'd probably do better just using a computer.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that you know, there's so many different options out there. You know, one of my favorite options, if you're looking to, sorry guys, one of my favorite options, if you're not wanting to build it yourself, is I love what Carlos has done over at Arcade One. So it's arcade-1.com. He sells this all-inclusive system that basically has everything. He's got a couple different hard drive versions, but it's basically all ready to go. You hook up a Xbox 360 wireless input, like a wireless receiver, and 2 Xbox 360 controllers or however many you need, and the thing is freaking awesome. It's got a pretty decent graphics card in it. It plays things all the way up to Street Fighter 4. So if you're looking for something that you want to just buy out, like just buy it outright and do it,
ready to go,
that thing's pretty awesome. And it's Arcade-1. I featured his system in the Beast video actually. So yeah, just in case you want to check that out.
Yeah, so once you pop in a new game, we'll switch topics. We have a few more. How are we doing on time?
Oh, my joystick's not going down again. I'm doing okay. I'm thinking like 15 more minutes probably.
Okay. How's that sound, guys? 15 more minutes. So we got a few more subjects that we could talk about. I'm going to run through them, let us know if you're interested in it. We got some interviews from Harold this week. We could talk about that. AtGames fixed the streaming software. Ralph can rant about how amazing AtGames is now that his computer is almost back together.
Almost.
Let's see. So we talked about that. The Dragon's Lair petition. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
We got the New Wave Toys Kickstarter.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Some competitions for Best Modder of the Year we could talk about. So those are the subjects. If you heard it, write it down. Sir Fox, I could not agree with you more. Don't mean to be offending.
Okay,
but
so Zerfox, I think it's how you say it. I'm not going to actually say on the stream what you're saying, but I've never interacted before, so I don't know if that's just him. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a little weird for me. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
Just say some people were tired.
Deck, what's up, dude? Love you too, man. I've never seen you on here, I don't think. So welcome. I forget how to play this game,
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think the summary on Harold's interview, it's a long interview. The short of it is, it does look like AtGames is investing a lot of money and time into interacting with the community, and it seems like the CEO of AtGames is embracing the community, and they haven't really had a good face into the community. They've always been seen as they make crappy Sega clones, right?
Yeah.
And they want to change that. And so it looks as though, they hired Chizcom, which was the company Arcade 1-Up used for their marketing for the first year and a half. I think all those folks
By the way,
are
Justin,
great.
Like, this is a family-friendly show, but
Yep.
I would have been careful. If you say Chizcom a certain way, it can sound like something completely different. So you just have to be careful with Chizcom.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that.
If you take a couple letters, if you keep a couple letters in the alphabet and accelerate yourself, it sounds bad. Like,
but okay, look, the guy's name is Harold Chiswick.
I get
right?
that. I'm just saying.
He's been in the industry for a really long time. And about 8 years ago, he was like, I'm starting my own marketing firm.
And it's been
and
successful.
It's me and my wife are going to run it. And since it's a family-owned operation, it could be called Chizcom.
But now you're making me feel like a jerk for saying it, though. Like, that
You
wasn't
are a
cool.
jerk
That was
for
cool. Like a jerk. That's so not cool. Dude. All right, anyways, continue, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm actually really interested in AtGames versus Arcade 1-Up. Some people say they're kind of like in two different, lanes, and we talked about this before. Basically, you got Arcade 1-Up who's working specifically with a company, usually Digital Eclipse or their parent company, building these emulators that are dedicated for these cabinets and working with a publisher. And AtGames isn't. AtGames may be working with some publishers to license the games, and maybe a handful of emulators, but they went with a MAME style, 350 games all in one, and you can add on it. It's kind of different. So I don't know. What do you think, Ralph? I mean, like, Arcade 1-Up, they say the biggest accessory to an Arcade 1-Up is a second cabinet, right? But I don't think someone's going to go buy two AtGame cabinets. So it's kind of how they going to get the second customer.
Yeah, I mean,
how they get the second sale.
So I think that it'll be interesting to see how this gets rolled out, because I think that AtGames' long strategy is that I feel like the way they position the cab is it's a platform, right? Is I'm buying into a platform. So when you buy that cab, you're buying the equivalent of like a retro Xbox One, right? And so like there's going to be incremental upgrades along the way, whether it be software, they're going to have online services. So, but it's weird because with all this bring your own game and now the local streaming, and they've fixed the issue with the timer. So like now if I have a Steam catalog, I can play all that locally. So like that does, it does require a PC that's got a decent graphics card in it to do that, but that sort of takes away from that incremental revenue that they're expecting to get from the streaming services. And unless ArcadeNet is amazing in a year or in the next 6 months, that $20 cost that they're expecting to get out of ArcadeNet, you may not invest in it if it's something where, okay, I have the ability to bring my own ROMs, I have the ability to bring my own game, local streaming with Steam. Like, why would I do that? So I think they need, and maybe where that's going to come in is there's going to be consumers that maybe they don't have this, they're not sophisticated enough to do the other stuff, right? But hopefully on this channel and Justin's, my whole goal is to try to teach everyone how to do it so that this stuff is simple. But if you're someone that doesn't feel comfortable doing it, then maybe you do pay the $20 a month. Right now, for me, even though that is free right now, by the way, disclaimer, the one thing that's really hard, there's so much of this stuff going on. ArcadeNet is free right now. So if you go and buy one of those cabinets, you're going to get the 3 pages of games, and I think there's 10 on each page, so you got 30 games. Those 30 games are included for free right now, but their plan was to always charge for ArcadeNet $20 a month, and then you'd get, I think it's 5 hours. I think it's 5 hours of bring your own game for free, so Steam. But now you can actually do Steam locally for free. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But it's honestly, I know that I've been joking around and a lot of people aren't getting the humor in it, but I've been joking around a lot, but it actually is a pretty decent multi-cade platform right now. It's the best one there is. If it's like a not a build your own, if you're not building it yourself, it's the best one in this like quarter scale, even though the AtGames cabinet's quite a bit larger market that we're in right now. If you're looking for multi-cade, it's plug and play. It's pretty much the one to get at this point. Unless you're going to build it yourself.
And I think, if I know off the top of my head, Tulsa and Arcade Graphics, I think they're both working on, is that right? They're both working on new skins, new graphics for the AtGames cabinet, because they understand that one thing that AtGames didn't hit very well is the look and feel of the cabinet.
Well, there is a problem. There's a problem, Justin, that so obviously I think a lot of people are probably expecting that I would have skinned the cabinet by now, and I haven't done that yet. There's one thing I'm kind of nervous about. And I didn't try this yet. There's no real. Yep. So Joe Sabo is going to be. Sorry, I'll backtrack real quick. So Joe Sabo is going to be doing it. So you got Joe Sabo doing it. You got Tyler over at Arcade Graphics doing it. I don't know about Tulsa. He's not really a graphics guy, but those two are definitely doing it. I'm assuming Escape Pod will probably jump on at some point too. But the thing that I've heard, and I haven't actually gone and tried this, is the bezel. There's no way to unscrew the bezel and take it off. Well, if those of you that have skinned arcade one-up cabinets before, the bezel's probably one of the most difficult things to get right because you got to cut it so precisely. Now, I have a theory that bezel's glued on, so I'm gonna try to heat it up with like a hairdryer and see if I can pull it off. Because if you can't, you're not going to be able to skin that well while it's on the cabinet, because to be able to get those edges and get it down nice and clean, I think it's going to be hard. So
listen up, everyone. Don't do that to your cabinet. Let Ralph break his. Okay?
Yeah, honestly,
let Ralph destroy his.
And I haven't even told you this. I'm going to do Justin, I'm going to try to do a year review video where I talk about all of the mods that I've done and then like learning experiences along the way relating to Arcade 1-Up. And there's been certain things that I did where literally you guys didn't see the mistake, or maybe I didn't show the mistake. I do show some of my mistakes and I talk about them, but the whole point of the video is I'm going to point out some really funny things that happen along the way that I didn't show you guys, and I maybe in the video showed you how it was done, but I didn't do it that way day one. So, and I'm not afraid to show that, guys. I learn stuff every single day about arcades. You know, I've been doing arcades for a long time. Arcade 1-Up was just a means to get back into the hobby, and I learned a ton of stuff along the way. So
Deck looks like Deck is from the UK. Did you read that, Ralph?
Oh, sweet. No, I didn't see it.
Need some advice. They say, I want a cabinet to mod. Should I get an Arcade 1-Up Street Fighter 2 cabinet? I'm in the UK, and there's a good Black Friday deal. What do you think? So Street Fighter is their first generation model, and then they have not revamped Street Fighter 2 as of yet. So if you're getting it, it's going to have all their original, what they came out with initially, versus if you could get your hands on, say, their newer ones like the Marvel.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ralph?
Well, I mean, I think access to cabs out there is really difficult, right? I think that's the only if you don't have the ability to get like a modded control panel already with like the buttons that you need. The Street Fighter one's already got 6. You'll probably have to add 2 for coins if you're doing like a Pi or something. So those will be your select on your USB encoder. So I mean, yeah, it's a great cab. Just know that it's got the version 1 monitor, so you're gonna have some of that like light bleedy issues with it, but right. It's tolerable. I feel like if that's what you had access to and it was a good price, I would go for it. There was another question in here, is why don't I have the 4.0 BIOS? I actually don't have the 4.0. I'm going to skip back to this real quick. Someone asked, why don't I have the 4.0 BIOS in this thing? This has got 3.3. I actually have another Neo Geo cab somewhere else that does have the 4.0 BIOS on it. It's not in here. I was thinking about putting it in here, and I didn't. 3.3 is fine, but I'll probably end up putting 4 in here at some point. Actually, I actually brought one up here. I brought something up here. I was going to actually show that in an episode, how you change the BIOS in these things, but I haven't got a chance to do that yet. It's pretty simple. Getting access to the BIOS chip is not easy, actually, sometimes, especially 4.0. I feel like I've had a hard time. Scarlet Sprites, believe it or not, sent me one just as a friendly thing to do, which was really cool. So if he is watching or watches this at some point, thank you so much, because that was pretty awesome. It's not in this one, though.
So we don't have much time left. We're let's try to lightning through these news things. So Dragon's Lair petition. RetroRalph, give us your thoughts.
Oh, dude, that was so cool. So Cursed Existence, if he's in here, he's the one that started that. So the idea was, it was this bet between Derek, who his name online is Cursed Existence, and Scott Baccarat of Arcade 1-Up. I have no idea that's how you say his name, but Scott Baccarat.
You just got to make fun of it.
Yeah, Baccarat. Hey, man. Yeah. Scott Baccarat here. I'll make you a Dragon's Lair if you can promise me to get 1,000 people to sign this petition. I don't think the original bet was signing the petition. I think it was actually 1,000 people interested or something like that. And I think Derek went ahead and said, well, I'll start a petition as a means to record it, which is a really smart move. And it's well over 1,000 now, I'm pretty sure. So I was going to do it. Yeah. How many people, Derek, does it have right now? He'll chime in there. His name is Cursed Existence in the chat, but I was pretty stoked that they did that. So speaking of Dragon's Lair, there's also the New Wave Toys did they also did a Kickstarter on Dragon's Lair, which is pretty cool. And I think that's all fully funded as well. I signed up for that. So to imagine a small, tiny unit that plays Dragon's Lair, I'm just kind of cool to see. I'm kind of like interested to see that. Dragon's Lair is like it's a weird game too, man, because I remember actually being quite pissed off when I first started playing it as a kid, because if you didn't know how to play, you were pumping $1 in, at least in my arcade, I think it was $1. And so, but the bad thing about Dragon's Lair is once you learned the patterns, that it wasn't so fun anymore. But I still liked it because it was weird to see like this full motion video game. It was really unique. There wasn't a lot of that in the arcade at the time. So, but once you learn the patterns, it's not really that fun anymore, in my opinion. But still a really cool game, and it's like a really cool piece of arcade history.
So what I think will be cool is if, we talked about this before, if they already had plans to release an Arcade 1-Up Dragon's Lair, and this was just kind of like a marketing stunt, like Chris knew he could deliver on it, or I'm sorry, Scott knew he could deliver. I don't know why I say Chris sometimes. Scott knew he could deliver on it. And the next question is that something they'll actually announce at CES? Obviously, if they announce it at CES,
then we know it was already in motion.
It was already in motion.
Oh, wait. So Cursed Existence said it was planned for 2021.
Okay.
Wait, what is Chris Guy's out? What are you talking about? It's okay. It's a good name. I don't know what that was. So I missed something somewhere. Hey, Brian, what's the Arcade Hangout show? I want to be on the Arcade Hangout show for sure. Sounds cool.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, playing some Metal Slug now. Again, because I've got the Unibios on here, I can go in and cheat if I want to. I can go into the cheat database and say, yeah, I think I want auto fire. And yeah, you see? Yeah, I want infinite lives, you see? Yeah. Invincibility, infinite ammo. You can go all out if you really suck at Metal Slug.
Hey, so yeah, Crystal, they're talking about how the 4-player cabinet in the UK, is that right? So is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the UK? I get a lot of people commenting on my channel. It's like, oh, that's great. You make all these videos about Arcade 1-Up, but nothing's in the UK.
I know. What's going on with it? Why is that? Is it import fees? Like, what is it? I mean, what is the deal? Do
you guys have Star Wars over there? A lot of people are looking for Star Wars.
Cab should be $349. Oh, Justin, someone asked about my broken handheld.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You fixed it?
Yeah, I did. I think I brought it up here. Do you want me to get it really quick?
No, don't get it.
Why? No? Come on. Do you guys want me to get it or what?
Should he go get it?
Should I go get the broken handheld or no?
He's got a broken handheld.
No, but I fixed it. Well, you asked if I fixed it. I did fix it. Yes, go get it. All right, Chris. If Chris says get it, I'm getting it. Hold on. And I'll probably trip over the green screen and die in a second, but hold on.
Here we go. All right. So he's gonna go get it, and we're gonna chat. So let's chat. Someone pose a question. Someone pose a question in the chat. Oh wait, Ralph's already back. We didn't even get to the fun part.
What are we gonna do? I can leave.
No, that's okay.
I can leave for a little bit.
No. Let's do this.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Show us, Ralph. Show us.
All right. So I'm gonna actually get. Hold on. I'm gonna get this.
Hey, Sir Fox, we'll get you a link after the show. I promise.
All right. So, oh, by the way, Cursed Existence, if you're still here and you want to throw that petition in there, it'd be really cool if everyone that was in here went and signed that, because that'd be pretty cool to get that game. So this thing right here, which you can't really see very good because of the lighting, but it's called the Handheld Game Station. And I found out about this, I think it was on AliExpress. And then, the funny thing is, it's really hard as a smaller YouTuber to stay ahead of things, because if it's something and I see it, you can guarantee that there's 10 other YouTubers that are much larger than me that already have it, right, or are getting it. And so, of course, I had it sitting for a day, and then I saw that ETA Prime did a review on it. And that's awesome, because he's great, right? But when it came, this thing is, the reason why this is unique is it runs a Pandora's box, and it's based on, they must have ported, unless it's always been this way, but it's got an Android OS on it, and it runs the Pandora's box 3D. You can add games to it. But when it showed up, the battery was dead. And so it has almost kind of like a cell phone battery. It was 5,000 would it be wait, what would it be? I can't remember. Yeah, millivolts. And so I didn't have one that was 5,000, but I did have an old LG cell phone battery, and I put it in here and it works. So, so it charges up fine. It looks like the logic chip works. So it actually, yeah, so it works. But this is pretty neat. I will say it does a lot of console games. It does Dreamcast. It does PSP. It does what else does it do? I can't think right now. Final Burn Alpha. It does MAME. It does N64 okay, some of the games, but yeah, you can see it says Android starting up. But I'm pretty stoked on this thing. It's right now they're trying to push these things for Christmas. So if you were interested in this, I'm probably going to end up doing a video. I'll probably try to do a lunchtime live stream on this. This doesn't, I feel like these are the kind of products that I like to do these quick streams on, because to do a whole video on this, I just don't have the time to do it. So I'm going to show it to you guys, but it doesn't have to be a whole video. But I'm pretty bummed that I bought it and the battery was dead. So hopefully if you buy one, the battery's not dead. All right. Sorry, Justin. I totally caught you off guard there.
No, it's fine, man.
So
at least you didn't leave me for 10 minutes like last time.
Yeah. What were you going to say before I did that? Before I left, you were going to ask something or do something, and I think I cut you off.
No, I don't think there was any. We were at a good segue point anyway.
Oh, cool.
I was just saying I didn't want you to leave me, because this is the RetroRalph show, and it's not a good show if RetroRalph isn't in the show. Then all of a sudden it becomes the console kit shows, and no one wants to watch that.
Actually, someone just said in the chat they want a good handheld that plays Neo Geo games. The LDK game does a pretty good job of Neo Geo, and it does a great job of arcade games. So if you ever see the LDK game, that's actually a pretty good one, and the prices of the LDK game are pretty good. There's a landscape and there's a horizontal and a landscape version of that. So maybe check that out if it's something that you're thinking about.
I got one.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, you have one. Oh, I thought he just left. Dude, he's just gone. He's just gonna leave.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah, the RG350. I have that, too. So I buy all these. Oh, you have one? Let's see it. Is it the vertical or the...
No, I have this.
Oh, that's the BitBoy? Is it a BitBoy?
No. This is the G-Pi case.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that one. I have another one like that, but I don't have that one. I can't remember what mine is called, but I updated the firmware on it a couple times. But anyways, so... Justin, we got to wrap soon, man, and I wanted to talk... Yeah, actually, I have that. I have it somewhere. It's in my little store. I'm not going to leave you again, but I have way too many handhelds. Way too many handhelds. But, yeah, so I'm not going to leave again, but I wanted to finish up on a couple things. What were all the topics? I just want to make sure we hit on everything.
We covered them.
Did we cover everything?
I guess, did you talk enough about the new toy, the New Wave Toys Kickstarter?
Yeah, I'll try to leave I'll ask Justin because I'll forget, but I'll try to leave a link in the show notes for that, because we started the stream as a new stream link. I lost all the notes that I had in there because I was an idiot and didn't copy and paste it. So, yeah, there's that. Brian, I gotta leave, dude. Kim's just hanging out downstairs. She has to work early tomorrow, so I want to be able to hang out with her for a little while because, she has to get up at like 5 something, which is pretty rough. So I'm gonna be able to hang out with her for a little bit.
Thanks everyone for joining us this Sunday. Of course, we've been doing this last few weeks and we've been having a lot of fun. I want to thank Ralph for letting me crash his show for the last few weeks. I think he's enjoyed me hanging out with him, so maybe we'll do a few more of these.
Not really. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I love having you around, man. It's been fun. Fun. I know we gotta go, guys. I know next time need cookies. Dude, I wish I had cookies. It'd be so awesome. Maybe I'll get something. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'm kind of getting a little like lightheaded and stuff too. But what do you guys think? Do you think that I could do a whole entire one of these as Cowboy Retro Ralph? Do you think I could pull that off to do the cowboy the whole entire episode? Justin says he doesn't think I can do it for a whole episode. I don't know if I could do it for a whole hour though. That's a long time to be Cowboy Retro Ralph. I could try though.
You could wear the hat for a full hour, but
someone said no, they shouldn't think. Someone clearly, dude, you don't like Cowboy Retro. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, it was crazy.
That's a
Ralph.
no for me.
It's hard enough for you to do the Retro Ralph character for a whole hour, then do Retro Ralph doing a cowboy. I know you. That's even more difficult.
I know you're kidding.
I had to turn off my character completely. This is me.
Oh boy. When I have the music on, Justin, I don't hear you worth a damn for some reason.
I can't hear you as well. Every single time the music is on, I'm just like, I hope what Ralph is saying is accurate, and I hope he's not talking about bad things, and I'm shaking my head up and down about it.
All right. I gotta wrap it up, but we got things to do, and I'm just, all things have to come to an end at some point. But I definitely appreciate everyone joining. This was super fun. They're always fun. I think I don't know. So on the next one, I feel like Justin and I talk all the time around like what format things we could do that's different and stuff. So I have some ideas, but him and I are going to talk about that probably this week and see what fun things we can come up with. So I don't know. Maybe next week we won't have. Oh, actually, I can do one. I'm going to be back from Rhode Island, so that's where my parents are. So we can do one if you want to do.
Were you thinking about trying a different format or?
No. Just like, we play games on it, but like maybe we don't play a game, or maybe we do something else. Like I do an unboxing while we're talking and we talk about that. So there's like a whole bunch of different things we could do, but I don't know.
What do you guys think? It'd be okay if we try something new next Sunday? Will you guys still stick around for it?
Crickets.
I think they already left.
They're like, we're out. We got a sure.
You were saying goodbye, so.
Yeah. Okay, of course, Cursed Existence
only
wants
if you're
Gundam.
using the soldering iron and you burn yourself again.
So I actually deleted that live stream. Yeah, I did. I deleted it. Yeah, I deleted it. I actually did burn. I burnt the
I mean, I have like tons of soldering experience. It's like all I've been doing for a long time. I could walk you through some of the basic steps.
I burned the
and maybe teach the people like there's only like a handful of things that you have to know how to do really, really well.
Oh, thanks, dude. Zerfox said, I've never seen a video that I have not enjoyed. Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. So
No. If we're talking about Ralph for a second, do you guys check out his video from today? I think it's his best video. Like it's the other day I called Ralph and I was like, Ralph, I need some help. I really want a Neo Geo cabinet, but I need you to break. He's like, dude, I made a video on it already. I'm like, dude, I don't watch your old stuff. And he was like, well, maybe I should bring it back. So I probably liked your video because he made it just for me.
Did I though? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
It was packed full of Neo Geo goodness.
Well, cool. So let's finish on this.
Check it out.
Justin, let's finish on this really fast though. First of all, go check out Justin console kits on YouTube. Go check that out. But then also go to, and I always forget the website. It's homearcades.consolekits.com. What is it?
So it's deals.consolekits.com. If that's too long for you, arcade.deals also works.
Okay.
Or homearcadedeals.com works.
Okay.
Or search Home Arcade Deals on Google and you'll find it. Okay. It's a great site for finding those cabinets in the United States for really cheap. Okay. If it's out there, you'll find it quickly.
Okay. All right, cool. Because I totally butchered that. So don't go to the website I said. I don't know where that goes. But There was something I wanted to shoot. There was one
It goes
thing I wanted
to Pantycades.
It goes to yeah, it goes to Pantycades. And you can also go to pantykades.com, which also goes to Console Kit. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. Just
yeah.
every site related to anything Arcade 1-Up will take you to my deal site.
Who will mod Paperboy first? Wait, what? Or who will make a Paperboy mod first? So oh, shoot, man, that's a whole other topic. I could get into that for a while. Shoot.
You got to spend some time.
Yeah, we might have to do, I do want to have like maybe next week we can add one of these topics. I do want to talk about about modding, because at some point you kind of like, I'm at a weird crossroads, because if you guys think about it, almost every mod of every major, like the popular arcades, has already been done. So when I first started doing the Arcade 1-Up specific mods, I was focused on games that no one had done. And like, what?
P-Dub. You gotta come in, P-Dub, last minute.
Dude, I don't think a Paperboy mod would be mod of the year personally, but I mean, Paperboy, like, I don't know about you guys. Paperboy used to piss me off in the arcade. Like, I don't know, it's a fun game, but I can't see. See, here's the thing: when I do a mod, I think about, if I built this, would I go back and play it over and over and over? So I have to love a game to build a cab based on it. And I tend to do dedicated mods, which are cool. And there's a reason for that. The reason why I like dedicated mods is because if it's a game you love, you're going to go back to it. Where if you do multicades, which I do like, by the way, they can be overwhelming really fast. Like, people that are new to multicades will be like, I want 7,000 games. I want 10,000 games. And the problem is, you will sit in front of that cabinet. I guarantee you, it might not happen the first time. It might not happen the second time. But you will be frustrated, because you'll stand in front of that thing with so many choices that you probably will spend more time scrolling than playing. So my philosophy on, and I'm not sorry, P-Dubs, I'm not dissing Paperboy. It actually is a good game. But for me, I just try to pick games that I know have like a super huge replay value for me. Like, one that I'd probably get a lot of flack for, that I actually kind of regret doing like 500 mods of, is I did like 6,000 TMNT cabs. TMNT, those two games, they really, oh God. All right, I have to comment on this really quick. So someone said build a Dragon's Breed game. You know that I hate that game, so shut up. Dragon's Breed sucks. Actually, the game, I think that game actually is really good. It's just, it's hard as shit. But yeah, like, you just got to think about the games to you. Like, do you love it enough to go back to it every time? That's why I chose certain games. Like, I built that Sega Genesis Classics cab because I love Sega Genesis. It also played Sega CD, but keep in mind, some people might go, well, why the hell did you build the Sega Genesis cab? Because that wasn't really an arcade cabinet. But anyways, that'll go down a whole other rat hole. But I just tried to pick things that I love, and I do love Genesis, as Chris Guysot knows. And he busts my balls about it all the time. But I am such a fanboy of the Genesis. I'm sorry. I just am.
I mean, I feel bad. Like, I really want to make a Mario versus cab, Duck Hunt, Super Mario Brothers. And, I have all the parts to be able to do it, except for the skin. But, and I remember playing that, that in Hogan's Alley and various Nintendo games. But I don't think people would really be interested in that, because it's more of this console-based arcade game. Duck Hunt, Light Gun, I have all the stuff to do it. I just got to assemble it.
Console Kits, we're going to really need to wrap this up soon, please. We really got to
wrap
this up.
All right, so here we go. We're going to sign off. That's how Dad did it.
That's how Dad did it?
No, I'm not going to do that. Hold on. I feel like I need to sign off in like in the male voice. Like, this is bad. This is...
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well.
So far. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, this is a wicked annoying voice, guys. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here with Console Kits. Yeah. Alright, I'm sorry.
All right. Wait, what?
Is that what you're doing, your Bobby voice?
I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. There's a weird effect I have. I have a bunch of effects on my soundboard, and one of them's chopper, which is really annoying. So check this out.
Dude.
Hey, guys. Oh, my gosh. The internet is clipping. Oh, my gosh. I knew I should have upgraded the internet. Damn it.
Stop it, Console Kits. I
Hey,
see
I don't
you
even know why
waiting
you're
over
doing
there.
What a lot of people don't know. Turn the effects off, man.
Oh gosh. Sure, console kits, you super buzzkill.
What's up?
No, let's give them the real thing, okay? Let's show them the real Ralph. Turn off the effects for a second, and then we'll end it. This is how we're gonna end it, guys. Watch this. All right, you back to your normal voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you just do a voice? Like, you do amazing voices. Like this guy all week just kept on sending me. I have hours of audio of him doing impressions.
Which I'm actually scared that you have and kept, but yeah.
Yeah, because some of them are a little damaging, right? But just pick one. Just pick one, and end it on that. Oh, let's see. Can you do Pee Wee Herman?
It's not really a Pee Wee Herman. I could do
Trump.
But I'm not a political guy, but I could.
Well, just talk about arcade stuff.
Oh, hey guys, thanks so much for joining. This was probably the best and most populated live stream on all of YouTube. It was amazing. I mean, Console Kits is the best host. This game I played is the most amazing, best game ever. Ivanka played it when she was a little girl, and she put so many quarters into it, but of course I'm super rich, so I just kept giving her quarters, and then I just bought the whole arcade at that point, and I put it in Trump Plaza. So I'm not political, guys. I don't even go there. But there is one other voice. So I don't feel like it's fair for me for Derek, for you to ask that, because I don't really think that's my Twig voice. It's just a voice. It's like, hey, man, this is RetroRalph, but RetroRalph is kind of like Cowboy RetroRalph at the same time, because there's Cowboy RetroRalph, and then there's like, hey man, how's it going? Yeah, I was playing these video games, with this guy. I don't know, he's running this arcade website, Console Kits or something. But it was weird. I went to his site and I found myself I somehow, I don't know, the missus was coming around the corner, and all of a sudden I was at pantycades.com, and I was like, oh my gosh, the missus going to kill me. So then anyways, all right, whatever. All right, guys, that is it. We got to wrap it up. I'm sorry. I want to do this all day long, but we got to just stop because I got to hang out with the lady. So that is it. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, everyone, for joining and sticking around. These are super fun, and I love these. So I love doing videos, but I love this more, actually. Like, the interaction, the questions, it's all been good, and you guys are awesome. So
let's send them out with Night of the Roxbury.
Yeah, so we're just gonna... I can't even do that with my neck, actually. So we're out. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. Next week, I'm going to try to get a video out. I know it's Turkey Day, but we're going to try, okay? I know it's going to be a little light out there. You're going to be all filled with turkey and be like, oh my gosh, you just want to watch something. Why you'd want to watch me, I have no idea, but I'm going to try to do it. So, and one last thing. I bought a twerking reindeer that responds to music that's actually controlled by Alexa. So we're going to have to check that out. It's a twerking reindeer. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that if you want to. There's no obligation there, but if you enjoyed it, I would sure appreciate it. All right, guys, that is it, and we are out.
See you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. See you later, Console Kit.